In step 1, a stimulus is sent down the motor neuron to the neuromuscular junction of a particular muscle cell. In this case, Jason and Brandon are representing the stimulus and the hallway represents the motor neuron heading toward the neuromuscular junction. In step 2, the stimulus then causes the vesicles in the axon terminal to release a specific neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, which flows across the synaptic cleft site of the chemically gated ion channel on the sarcolemma of the muscle cell. The gate opens and sodium rushes into the cell. In this scene, Jason is the vesicle, the hallway is the axon terminal, Jason's wallet represents the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, the space between Jason and Brandon represents the synaptic cleft, the door is the ion gate, and the white paper represents the rush of sodium ions into the cell. In step 3, the rush of the sodium ions into the cell causes the sarcolemma to generate its own impulse that travels across the muscle cell and down transverse tubules, which causes the sarcoplasmic reticulum to release stored calcium ions in the cell. In this scene, the stairway represents the transverse tubules, Brandon represents the sarcoplasmic reticulum, and the white paper now represents calcium ions. In steps 4, 5, and 6, the calcium binds to the troponin on the actin, causing the tropomyosin to shift, exposing the binding sites. This causes the myosin heads of the myosin filaments to reach for and attach to the actin filaments, forming the cross bridge. Once attached, the myosin head uses stored energy to bend and pull the actin inward. This is called the power stroke. After each power stroke, ATP causes the release of the myosin head and resets it into its cocked position. The energy for the power stroke comes from the ATP and not from calcium. In this case, Jake represents the tropomyosin, the white paper is the calcium ions bound to the troponin on the actin, Luke represents the binding site, and Jason is the myosin head. When Jason attaches to Luke, the cross bridge is formed, and when Jason moves Luke, the power stroke is represented. Brandon represents the ATP that resets Jason to get him ready for the next power stroke.
ATP. ATP. ATP.